Hey, YouTube family, aka homies and homettes. Welcome to another video of the Kevin Strong Show. And in this video, we're going to talk about 401ks in America. Fidelity just came out with a report that those who had 401ks lost almost 25% of their net worth. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of a 401k. I'm going to give you my opinion of that, and stick to the end of this video because I'm going to share with you guys two screenshots that I took from a YouTube channel that clearly shows we don't really care. We rather spend our time doing dumb stuff, and we kind of get what we deserve. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this video, but you know what I'm going to ask for. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm going to ask you to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, comment and share because I care. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this video. It is called the pros and cons of a 401k. Full disclosure here, I am not a financial planner. I am not a CPA. This is just for educational purposes. So let me put that disclaimer out there to begin with. This is just my opinion. Ultimately, you should seek the advice of a certified financial planner or somebody who specializes in investments if you are contemplating investing in a 401k. I'm just going to offer my 2 cents. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this slide. So as I said at the start of this video, we talked about this, that the retirement account balances lost almost 25%, according to Fidelity. IRAs, individual retirement accounts, basically on average around $104,000 in the last quarter. Okay, a steep decrease from the previous year, where the average was $135,000. So that is a significant drop, going from $135,000 down to $104,000. The second bullet point is a 403B that basically deals with public schools and some charities. Those type of accounts in aggregate went down 19%. And one of the drawbacks, in my humble opinion, to a 401k program is that on average, as you can see by the last bullet point on this slide, you have very limited investment choices, basically between 8 and 12 on average. Some have a little bit more than others, but by and large, you do not have a large amount of investment options to choose from when you choose a 401k program. So keep that in mind as we go through this presentation, because I am going to expound on that as we go along. So this is according to a survey that I got from the Federal Reserve, basically breaking down the median retirement savings based on the age group. And as you can see at these numbers, I mean, depends upon where you get the resources at, folks. It varies. These numbers vary, but without question, the big issue that clearly jumps out should be to you guys, hey, homie, this is not enough money, right? Under 35 years of age, 13,000, ages 35 to 44, 60,000, 45 to 54, only 100,000, 55 to 64, 134, 65 to 74. Welcome to Walmart, right? $164,000 and 75,000 plus 83,000. So look at that. The thing that's important is that, excuse me, those Americans that are over 75 years of age and older, medium retirement savings is only 83,000. You have to go down to age 35 to 34 before you get to something at that level. What I extract from this particular slide is, as you get older, you rely more on fixed income. And as a result of that, that fixed income gets eaten away by inflation. And that's why you see people's savings significantly drop. Look at it from 65 to 74, which is 164,000, and then it drops to 83,000. That's in half. That clearly screams out to me, this is not financial advice, that fixed income is just eating away by high cost of goods and services. Okay, so here's a chart that basically says, in their opinion, this is how you should calculate the amount that you should have in savings in relationship to your age. So I'm not gonna go through this like I did the previous slide, but if you can see to the left of this particular slide, it clearly kind of explains and gives you an example of how to kind of calculate this. So you're 35 years old, you're making 45 grand a year, right? You should have 2 times that amount in savings. $90,000, which we know the majority of people do not have. So this is a very, very alarming thing, but it's also a snapshot to let you know how far off you are in terms of having adequate amount of savings set up to make sure you're clearly going to outlive your money. So let's get into some pros and cons of a 401k. Once again, another disclosure. This is just my humble opinion. There's 3 bullet points that talks about the pros. The cons are highlighted in yellow. We're going to start off with the pros, basically saying it's a qualified workplace retirement plan and it's protected by IRSA, Employee Retirement Income Security Act. So in the event that something happens to your employer or something like that, or they go out of business, your 401k should be taken care of based on this particular act. I'm here to tell you, in my humble opinion, that particular federal act that's supposed to step in the event that your company goes out of business and protect your 401k, it's insolvent, just like FDIC is insolvent. So don't be surprised if your temperature starts to rise. As a result, you're getting pissed off finding out that you think the federal government's going to swoop in the 11th hour and take care of you, because chances are that money may not be there. Many employers that offer a retirement plan also pay matching contributions. That also is a good thing. Some of them on average go up to 2 to 3% of what you put in. They'll match that. So that's a layup for some people. And in 2021, the allowable limit remains at $19,500 or $26,000 if you're over the age of 50. So this is a catch-up clause that they have in the books that allows you to contribute more to your 401k as you get older. And is also saying, as a good rule of thumb, you should save anywhere from 10 to 15% of your gross income for retirement. I think that number needs to be closer to 20% to 25%. I'd probably defer to 20, but in this inflationary environment, for most people, that's virtually impossible. And that's why so many people are going to have to rely on the government as they get older. Now, going to the highlighted portion, the yellow highlighted portion of this particular slide, we're going to talk about some of the cons of the 401k. Compared to other retirement accounts, such as an IRA or taxable brokerage account, you have limited investment options. And this is what I talked about earlier at the beginning of this presentation. A lot of times you might have anywhere between 10 and 15 options to pick within your company's 401k, where if you had, let's say, a Fidelity brokerage account, sky's the limit, right? Mutual funds, stocks, you can even day trade and some of that stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do outside of a traditional 401k, but that also requires you to get educated on some of those investment strategies so you can maximize your return and reduce your taxable liability. Second point here, folks, is due to the administrative responsibilities required by basically required by employer and sponsored retirement plans, they may charge high fees. So typically some of these 401ks have some really, really high fees. Some of the ones in the public sector, which is a 457B, which is a deferred compensation. A lot of city entities have these type of plans, which are comparable to 401ks. But these plans typically have very low fees compared to your private 401k program. So you got to kind of do some research, and the devil's always in the detail. Last but not least, one of the inherent disadvantages of putting money into a retirement account is that you're typically penalized 10% for early withdrawal before you reach the age of 59 and a half. So if you do have a hardship that qualifies for you to pull something out, I think there's an exception to that where you're not given that 10%, but also consult a CPA or a financial planner if you have to pull money out of your 401k. So here's the big thing, right? Stock market. What happened after the stock market crashed of 1929? So for easy math, it took almost 25 years. So from like 1929 to like 1954, I believe October of 1954, it took almost 25 years, 2.5 decades to get your money back if you had your money in the stock market at the height of the crash in 1929. So when we have some of these big crashes like the last one, and I say the great financial crisis of 2008, I think it took maybe 6 years to get your money back. That's a long time. And I think some of these numbers that jump out to you, I don't know if they're necessarily adjusted for inflation. I think these are nominal numbers. So it's actually worse than that if you factor in inflation. So last but not least, folks, here are two two snapshots that I've got from YouTube that I wanted to clearly explain to you guys how most of you really don't care. So here's a guy named Graham Stephan, really, really big YouTuber. I don't have any shade to throw on the guy, but clearly he's got 4.2 million subscribers. And look at this. He did a video probably within the last 15 months talking about how to retire in 10 years. So that's probably very unlikely for most of us. But the point is this, ladies and gentlemen. The video got 1.1 million views. As you can see, I direct your attention to the bottom left of this particular screenshot. You see that? Keep that in mind. So it took this guy 11 months to get 1.1 million views talking about how to retire in 10 years, starting with 0. Even if you can extract 1 or 2 sound financial principles from watching this video, what is that really worth to you? Why am I spending so much time on this particular slide? Wait till you see the next one. Remember, 1.1 million views in 11 months, teaching you how to retire early when you're starting from nothing. And here we go. Now you have a video about some guy petting a stray cat. They got 1 million views in 3 months. So it took the other guy who's talking about something that can clearly put you in a position to maybe start your journey towards financial freedom. This guy's got to spend almost 12 months with that particular video before it accumulates over 1 million views. Pet a stray cat, and you can get 1 million views in 90 days. This clearly shows that people aren't really serious about their health. They're not serious about their financial future. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to learn this stuff. I've said this at, let me clear out of this a little bit here. I've said this ad nauseum, ladies and gentlemen, that the barrier to entry to being financial literate instead of illiterate is knowledge, right? Stocks, when you start to trade them and understand the market, doesn't care if you're black, it doesn't care if you're white, it doesn't care if you're a girl, it doesn't care if you're a female, it doesn't care about your sexual orientation. None of this crap matters, but yet and still, we have this fascination of spending a lot of time on non-productive things. No one is expecting somebody to spend 4 hours a day and have their face buried in financial books. But if clearly, based on the information that I've shared with you guys today, the average American is grossly behind the 8 ball, no pun intended, when it comes to providing for financial security for themselves and their family. So you cannot make this stuff up. It's really, really sad. I don't see this ever changing. You have so many people posting various things on Facebook about dinners and cars and superficial things and food and all this other shit. Excuse my language, but you better get your health in order, right? Because nothing's more important than that. You can't enjoy life without having a quality of health. And finally, last but not least, one of the biggest myths about this 401k that's sold to the middle class is that you're supposed to delay everything because you're going to have a lower tax bracket. Who cares about that? A 401k is a tax, I would call it a tax strategy. It's not a tax plan. So you want to be in your senior years in a position where you're enjoying life. Who in the hell wants to work for 30 or 40 years just to live off 30% of their income? Think about that. Think about the how backwards they have everybody basically being FOMO'd in or being brainwashed to think about delayed gratification. Just put everything off until you're 65, and damn it, Jim, when you need those hip replacements and those knees go out, that's when you and your significant other can really enjoy life. You cannot make this stuff up, but post the video about a damn stray cat getting pet, And everybody will take time away to get fixated on that. Oh my God, this was the cutest thing in the world. I don't know how I'm going to pay my goddamn Visa bill. I'm about to get evicted, but I sure enjoyed that video watching that damn stray cat get pet. So you cannot make this stuff up, because sometimes you get what you give out of life. And that's just the sad truth. So I'm going to end this video with my famous slogan: keep your credit score up and your debt down. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Like and comment, because I care. This was the Kevin Strong Show, and I'll see you guys in the next video.